professor and then faculty member and now senior advisor at Yale. And we're thrilled to have this wonderful day. I'm sitting here with my friend Burgee.
Morning, folks. Burgee Howard. I'm one of the senior associate deans in Yale College, and I work here in the vice president's office. And I am just so glad to see so many folks out early and enjoying the day. And we are really looking forward to it. Just a fantastic day of celebration with families and friends and our graduates.
So you might ask what it is that Burgee and I are doing by sitting here. And here's our effort. We're going to try to tell you all what exactly this occasion is, why you're here on Old Campus, where your children are at this very moment, and what is going to be happening for the rest of the day, and explain to you a little about the ceremony itself.
So there are lots of graduates running around town right now, getting to their assembly spots, making sure that they look great. But you know, given that Yale has been in existence for over 300 years, it's an ever-evolving ceremony, but it has its kind of core traditions and experiences that are really kind of unique. And so, you know, for those who are at home, around the world who may be tuning in, we wanted just to give you a little sense of what's going on, as well as the folks that are here gathered on the old campus.
So here we are on the old campus, which is the oldest part of Yale. And in back of all of you who are sitting here is Connecticut Hall, which is the oldest building on campus. It was once a dormitory, and it is now being renovated, so it will be the chaplain's office, which is very appropriate.
Yeah, very much so.
Because Yale was first mostly a divinity school. It educated people to be clerics or for work in civil state. And as the oldest place on campus and the biggest area, outdoor area, we have the commencement here. It's traditional and it also gives us space. We will say that this is a very, very big commencement. Burgee, can you say why?
Well, I mean, for the parents of the undergrads, you know, but the class of 2025 started on the heels of the pandemic. And so we had kind of a number of students who may have deferred their admission to matriculation to come into campus for 1 or 2 years during the pandemic. And so then they joined the class of 25 as well as kind of a robust group. And so we have kind of one of Yale's largest undergraduate cohorts ever graduating. And then our graduate and professional cohorts are also equally large. So here on Old Campus, it is kind of amazing when I walk this space. Most of the time it feels large, but it doesn't seem like it can hold as far as the eye can see. But today we're going to have replete rows of graduates and faculty here on the yard, as well as families and friends.
I like to say that commencement at Yale is like giving a garden party, a wedding in your backyard, where there actually are too many people. And it takes a lot of patience. We appreciate the patience of all the families who come and who find it not a particularly easy weekend with so many people around. A joyful one, but not particularly easy. We thank you for your patience, and we thank all of the people at Yale who make this event possible.
Very much so.
All the people in dining services who are out there readying lunches, all the grounds people, all the custodial service people who help prepare this day and make it a wonderful one.
The one that, so we have about 20,000 chairs in front of us, and the ground staff setting all these chairs, the bottles of water there. It is spring here in New Haven, and so there's lots of pollen in the air, which so you'll hear me drinking frequently. But we've had a little bit of rain in the last few days, and these chairs have been wiped down by the staff so that we are ready to go for today.
So, let's talk a little bit about what exactly this ceremony is and what happens after it. You all know that before this, there have been events this weekend. Most of the schools have had them and the undergraduates have had them. And today is the day, the only day of the year, when all of the schools and the undergraduates are together in one place. All of the seniors, all the graduates from all of the schools. And I think we should start by telling everybody how many schools there are at
Right.
Yale.
It's growing, thankfully.
It's growing, yes. So let me start, Burgee, and if I mess up, you tell me what I'm missing. So
We won't make any mistakes.
Of course, we have the undergraduates, and there are 1,800 of those this year. And then we have the 4 schools of the arts. Yale is one of, I think, the only private university, liberal arts college university, that has 4 schools of the arts: art, architecture, music, and drama. We have a medical school, a nursing school, a school of public health, a law school, a divinity school, a school of management, a school of the environment, and very recently, we also have a school of global affairs
Yes, the
and
Divinity
a
School.
school of engineering.
Indeed, that's our newest.
So I think, you'll see people coming together from all of these schools and the undergraduates today on the old campus to receive their degrees.
It is interesting, you'll see in the procession, each of the schools represented: the undergraduate college, the School of Nursing, the School of Drama. Each of them will be led by a flag bearer. Heraldry is a very big thing here at Yale. So you'll see kind of the banners and flags, but also carrying a mace, which, some of them are kind of terrifying, but they have historical kind of significance for each school and have been designed. And so we're just looking on screen, we see that at the various schools gathering there. So you see some of the faculty gathering, some of the students and the faculty of those groups gathering.
Yeah, so right now, all of your family members are gathering with their school, and they're processing to the old campus or to the central campus or very close to it. And while you may be waiting, they're probably having the time of their lives.
Yes, there are lots of selfies, last-minute primping, visiting with friends, and this is a moment of celebration for them as undergrads have been together for 4 years, and some of our grad students have been here 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and this is a journey that they are really celebrating together. So they're happy to have their photographs and enjoy the moment.
It's a completely social occasion. So while you are waiting, they are having a very, very great time. And eventually they will all process to be in this area together. But it takes a while. There are many, many of them. So that is why it takes a good period. It takes longer to get into the old campus than it does for actually the ceremony itself.
For those who've not been here, we have a great shot of the old campus area here. There are gates at different points around the campus, but there are kind of couple main entry points where the graduates will come in. And Phelps Gate, which is the main gate that the camera shot is looking at currently, that is where the procession will enter for the most part. That's where we will see the platform party and the trustees come through. But you will see graduates from the law school and the divinity school coming from different kind of corners, gathering to this spot, and then taking their place here in the audience.
Now let's say a little bit about how you can identify your students if you haven't seen them today or if you're watching online. So every graduate is wearing a robe. The undergraduates are wearing black robes, and they have none of these things that we're wearing around our necks. They have none of these because they do not yet have a degree.
Correct.
And everyone who has a degree is wearing one of these.
These hoods, yes.
And the hoods are identifiable by their colors. So you see Burgee is wearing
the light blue.
an aqua, light blue stole, and that is an education degree.
Correct.
And you will see the other colors that identify what the field is. Pink is music, for example. Yellow is science. Orangey is engineering. Green is medicine. Purple is law. Architecture is kind of a blue-violet. Art and drama are brown. Management is a sapphire blue, and PhDs are a darker blue. It's sometimes hard to distinguish between the blues and the pink for music and the apricot for nursing and the salmon for public health. But all of these identify your field. Your robe, if it isn't black, everyone is entitled to wear a black robe.
Correct.
But if you're a PhD, you can wear a robe which is the color of the institution from which you graduated, not the institution where you teach. So I'm wearing a crimson robe. That happens to be Harvard's.
We won't hold that against you.
Thank you very much. The blue robes will be Yale. You'll see black and orange robes. Those are Princeton. Stanford has a very beautiful red and blue gown.
You'll see the light blue of Columbia University or the gray and red of MIT. So it is the full range. The purple of NYU or Northwestern will also be represented, and you can see some of the different robes as they're on screen. I see some green and some orange out there as well. I actually see my wife in her Harvard robe.
So I think we're seeing, these are yellow. Do they look yellow to you?
Yeah, that looks like they may be...
Science.
Yeah, they could be Saybrook students.
Those are the same. So we should also say all of the undergraduates at Yale now sport something called stoles. And those stoles identify their college. They're rather new. Here's let's see. I can show you mine if you can
Oh, there
see
you go.
it. This is the JE stole.
So,
And all of the undergraduates will be sporting them. So when we see the colors of the stoles that the undergraduates are wearing, we'll be able to tell which of the colleges they belong to.
this is, you'll see some minimal decor for some. Some will be wearing, the stoles. Some will have pins. Sometimes you'll see some of the teammates will be, wearing something that identifies them as, member of our, champion, women's lacrosse team or baseball, but this is obviously a chance to celebrate. And so each college will have their own, and undergraduate college and then program will have their own little twist. Oftentimes you'll see folks wearing a pin. I'm wearing a pin because I work with a lot of our students who are first in their family to go to college, and we like to celebrate them as well. And in this undergraduate class, about 19% of that class are first in their family to attend college. And it is just really kind of a wonderful moment. And I've had over the last few days a chance to see some of these families really kind of soaking in this very special moment in the achievements of their own student.
There is something called the Bureau of Academic Costume. It's a national bureau, and many colleges and universities belong to it, and they determine what the colors of the colleges and universities are and what the colors of the stoles in particular fields are. And they probably are not so happy to see that Yaleys now wear a lot of stoles and a lot of pins. Those are not de rigueur in a formal way, but they're a joyful expression of their belonging to a certain part of Yale.
Exactly.
So, every school and every college has a flag with its insignia on it. Burgee said that Yale is a place of great heraldry, and there's a reason for that. There was a gentleman known as Teddy Sizer. His was called Tubby Sizer, and he was what is called a pursuivant. He determined and created all of the initial heraldry of Yale. He was the one who determined, and by the way, this was in the 40s and early 50s. He determined what the insignia, what the emblem for every college would be, what the flags would look like, how the heraldry would go, what the maces, how the maces would be carried. And he was a very interesting man. He was what's called a monument man. In World War II, he went to Europe with a committee of people from the States, and they tried hard to determine where all the art that the Nazis had taken, where it originally belonged. So he was called a monument man. You see now on screen the 24-pound university mace.
Yeah, sitting behind us here. This is an impressive piece of hardware.
Yes, it has all of the names of the presidents of the university on it, inscribed on it, including, we should say, Burgie, that Yale has a new president this year.
We do.
And look at that's a beautiful, beautiful piece. It's often carried, it isn't today, but it's often carried by the university marshal, who will be carrying a different mace today. But this is a 24-pound, beautiful, beautiful artifact. It was given to Yale many years ago. The donor's name is also inscribed on it. And it is a symbol. It's a symbol of education. It's a symbol of the university's authority. And I guess we should say what this day actually is. It is, I would say, a reaffirmation of the power of education. So, you know, your students who are graduating today are receiving degrees. They're going to go on in the world, we hope, to make contributions and to contribute to the onward way that people give themselves to a larger society. And this day, in a sense, is the day when the university affirms the power of that education. So it's good to know what it is, in fact, we're doing by sitting here, and that really is it.
It is. I mean, it is a celebration not only of their achievement and kind of their accumulation of knowledge and creation of knowledge, but it is, you've heard this many times, and when you say it's a commencement, it is really Yale's affirmation of the power and the role that education plays in society, but it is also kind of launching our graduates out into the world to, and all over the globe to have a positive impact. And, one of the things that I'm constantly impressed about Yale students at all levels is not only their curiosity, but really their desire to actually apply their learning in some way that is going to be meaningful to those around them. Whether you end up as a second grade teacher back in your hometown, or you're writing policy, or you're pursuing graduate studies at other universities around the world.
So we should say a word perhaps about the new president. President McInnes, who spoke at the baccalaureate yesterday, and she was an art historian. Her speech mentioned a painting in the great University Art Gallery by John Trumbull, who actually is buried underneath the art gallery.
I learned that yesterday. I was not aware of that.
And it's a picture of the American Revolution and of a British soldier who is sparing an American soldier from being killed.
Yes.
And she built her speech around the idea of compassion. She herself is an art historian who previously was a dean at the University of Virginia and then a provost at the University of Texas at Austin. And her graduate degree is from art history at Yale. And I would say, she joins a very distinguished group of former presidents, I think, who are here. President Levin,
oh, yes.
Who is, I think, seeing his granddaughter graduate. President Salovey, I believe, is here, the former president of the
here's the
university.
painting that we were referring to.
Oh, there's the painting, yes.
So, you know, it is really wonderful when, you know, President Clinton can use her scholarship and her field to kind of speak to a larger message. And this, you know, in this image, she spoke about how sparing, you know, even when someone is their enemy, and there's a certain moment when we as a society need to recognize each other's humanity. And so it was a really wonderful set of remarks that I would encourage people to go online. It will be on the University President's site to talk about how this image, in this moment, we can come together even when we disagree and recognize each other's humanity and learn from each other.
So another thing probably you will see on your screen, and I think they'll show it soon, are the honorary degrees that will be received today by people. That the university will confer on 8 people, a very distinguished group of people. And you might ask, why is it that the university confers honorary degrees? And they really do it so as exemplars to their graduating students. These are people of significant accomplishment in very many areas of arts, science, engineering, humanities, and they have achieved great things. And they're shown as exemplars to our undergraduates and our graduate students. Here's Annette Gordon-Reed, the distinguished historian who wrote on Thomas Jefferson, and she's receiving a Doctor of Letters. And Peter B. Moore is receiving a Doctor of Science. He was a Yale undergraduate. He's a very distinguished scientist for his work on the ribosome. He's been at Yale for many, many years. Every once in a while now, Yale confers an honorary degree on a retired member of the faculty of great distinction. And he today joins that group. Debbie Allen, a wonderful
Example of the arts.
producer,
Yeah.
actress, dancer, who runs a school in Los Angeles where very great students learn to dance and to be part of theater.
One of her former students accompanied her back to campus because it was so special that she was one of the students that she'd nurtured since he was very young, and then graduated from Yale 2 years ago.
And great actress in West Side Story.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
yeah.
Michael Curry, Doctor of Divinity, the dynamic preacher, also a graduate of Yale Divinity School, class of 78, as we see here, and retiring bishop of the Episcopal Church. He retired last year. And Fei Li.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
What an amazing, I mean,
Renowned leader in artificial
advancing
intelligence.
AI.
Yeah. Now this woman came from a very, very low-income background. She was an immigrant, and she has risen to be a very big, important person in the development of AI, in human AI, she calls it. And Ron Carter's going to be a favorite, the great influential jazz bassist. You only need to mention his name to people who know jazz.
Ron was playing in our household this morning, you know, a stalwart of Downbeat magazine that, you know, the jazz aficionados know, playing with everybody great, Miles Davis, you know, you name it. And so it's just an amazing master of the bass.
And Frances Arnold, who won the Nobel Prize in chemical engineering. She's a chemical engineer.
Yeah, chemical engineering, yes.
And she was somebody who joined the power of nature and science to make incredible discoveries that are going to help human health and welfare. And Skip Gates, 73 BA, Yale, was my peer as an assistant professor who's gone on to make great contributions to literature, to the study of African American history, and many in the audience will recognize Skip from the PBS TV show Finding Your Roots, where he helps people discover their origins and surprises many Americans with their immigrant roots.
And I think, you know, those connections, you know, that come out in those stories and in that kind of genealogy series is really powerful, saying that we are all connected in some ways, and Skip's work has been really wonderful in highlighting how we are, as Americans and as people around the world, are very much connected. So yes, and he is a favorite son here of Yale.
Well, this is a homecoming for him. His mentors are no longer alive, the great professors who mentored him. But I think Skip has always had a very soft spot for Yale, and we're delighted that he's being honored today. Now let's see what we see here.
It looks like they're starting to get themselves organized, and as you look down the walk there by the Noah Porter Gate, you see the various flags of the schools and programs. You see the Faculty of Arts and Sciences there on one side.
And you see the yellow Johns Hopkins gown there. You see a Stanford gown. You see a Yale blue gown.
I see Kate Creer standing there in the center. She is holding one of the maces that will lead the procession, which is actually called the Yale. I think it's a very terrifying.
It's called the Yale, and it's spelled Y-A-E-L. And it's a monster with a goat's head, and it is one of the maces that leads the entire procession. Don't ask us why, folks. It's part of the long tradition of heraldry at Yale. She's one of the lead commencement marshals, and she's carrying that Yale.
And she's the Dean of the Arts here at Yale College, and so the number of performances. We had Glee Club concerts, we had Symphony Orchestra, the Dramat had their senior performances happening in the last few days, and it was really an opportunity to showcase the talent in the arts. I was at an event last night where students from the School of Music were performing, and it was just amazing, the range of operatic to
musical theater.
Right, musical theater. It was from West Side Story to Puccini, all in one setting, and it was really just you were kind of blown away by the talent. And even today, we will have members of the band and Glee Club who will be performing as part of.
And we should thank them. We thank the band and we thank the Glee Club for their work today. I want to tell people what they're going to see as people start coming through Phelps Gate and down the aisle. You are going to see the Yale, led with Kate Creer. You're going to see the marshals. You're going to see the flags, the university flag, and the flag of America, the national flags, the flag of the city of New Haven. And coming down the aisle, you're going to see the president and the officers of the university, and the honorands are going to come down. And then you'll see the Yale College start to come in and other people start to fill in. And the very last thing that will happen is that many of the flags will have gathered up by Phelps Gate. And then at a particular moment, when everybody is here, they're going to march down the center aisle, and you're going to hear the students from each college and each school cheering their flag.
It never ceases to amaze me, how students respond when they see the flag of their school or program or their undergraduate college, how they react. It is something that kind of binds them, and I was in Maryland on business last year, and I saw a person walking down the street who had one of the shields from their residential college on a sweatshirt. And, I said, I recognized it, and I said, oh, Berkeley grad here in Baltimore. And her face lit up because she knew that someone from Yale had recognized this, and it resonated. And so I love when the flags come through, you hear the students just absolutely enjoy it. And then when the undergraduates see their faculty head of college or their residential college dean, these are the people who have stewarded them over the past 4 years, and they are greatly appreciative. My colleague was the master of one of our residential colleges for a number of years, and there are decades of folks who continue to adore her because of the role she played in their undergraduate experience.
So I think I'll go through once more the colors of the hoods and the colors of the stoles. So the hoods are worn by the graduate and professional students. An MA degree will be liberal arts, will be white. Science will be golden yellow. Philosophy is dark blue. Architecture is a blue violet. Art and drama are brown. Divinity is scarlet. Engineering is orange. Forestry, and the School of the Environment is russet. Law is purple. Management is sapphire blue. Medicine is green. Music is pink. Nursing is apricot. And public health is salmon.
I feel like I'm getting a Benjamin Moore paint
I know.
wheel here. Determining the difference between pink and salmon sometimes, for some of us who aren't color astute might be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Now you see the flags in back of Kate Creer. You see the Now the flags are held by the high stand winners, the winners of the big prizes in Yale College. I always think it's interesting that people who win prizes, their gift is to carry a heavy flag.
They're put to work, and sometimes, on a windy day like we're experiencing today, that flag could be a bit of work. So they're definitely going to get a little bit of a workout.
So you'll see the flags being carried by the high stand winners, and in back of them is going to come ultimately the president and her procession. And they will enter the gate first. They will enter Phelps Gate first.
Yeah, we see.
I see there on the right of my screen the flag of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which is just amazing. And, again, I think it's a distinct honor for the flag bearers, but this is something that I think everyone really looks forward to. It's a day where they get to celebrate the accomplishments of their students. And so I was speaking to a number of faculty in the past few days who, this is the day that they really, because they know how hard the folks have worked, whether doing research in their lab or a student they've known who's been coming to office hours and really kind of taking a moment. And so this is the moment where they love to be able to celebrate the accomplishments of those students and really kind of enjoy the community that is Yale. Chance to meet parents and families. It is really wonderful to be able to speak to families and share a little bit about the student and the experience that some of us have been privileged to have.
Virgie, I think I see on the left of my screen maybe the Saybrook flag.
Yes, they're in the back. Yeah, Saybrook, the yellow. You see.
Sometimes it's hard to see the flags because they, unless it's very windy, they don't open entirely. But so that's why it's easier
global affairs there.
Look at the hoods.
Yep, the Saybrook flag.
So let me now say, if your student is an undergraduate, what their stole will look like.
Oh, yeah.
So Branford is blue lined with gold. Hopper is blue with white. Franklin is blue with red at the bottom. The trouble is they're all blue. Saybrook is yellow lined with blue. Stiles is yellow with black at the bottom. Trumbull is red. TD is red lined with a white shield. Pauli Murray is red lined with black. Morse is pure red. Berkeley is red lined with light blue. Davenport is maroon. Pearson is green, dark green. JE is green. No, Pearson is black.
Black and gold.
JE is green, and Silliman is green with red at the bottom. That may be a little much for you, but you can have a general idea. When
we look here on the screen, we see on the right, we see the flag from Grace Hopper there, on the right there with blue and white that's ruffling there, and just behind them is the flag from Silliman College. On the left, as we mentioned, we saw Saybrook there by the tuba horn, and behind it, the black and gold of Pearson College.
Yeah.
So yes, they are all gathering there.
I wanted to say something a little unusual at Yale. When people receive their degrees in many places, they are welcome to all the rights and privileges. But at Yale, the president welcomes you to all your rights and responsibilities, which I think is a lovely thing. It is a day where you're being honored. It is a ceremonial day. But there are expectations around your degree. You've been very privileged to be here and receive that degree. And so it isn't just rights and privileges, it's rights and responsibilities.
And I do think people really take that responsibility seriously. I mean, we've seen this in alums who are here as part of the university community, but also alums who come for various events. It looks like the band is
Yes.
starting the procession. So
This is Tom Duffy leading the band.
we're underway.
We're
The color guard
underway.
has come through the gates with the flag, and now the band.
Folks, they're going to come through Phelps Gate right beyond us if you're here. And when they get halfway down the aisle, we're going to disappear.
Because, you know, the stars of the show are the graduates. But this is really wonderful to be able to see the School of Music. I see Provost Strobel and President Guinness
Yeah.
tipping their caps to
Presidents,
President there on the left and the Provost
there's
on the
President
right.
Guinness and Alex Stryer.
Pryor, yeah, from our General
Yeah.
Counsel.
Kim Goff-Cruz, who's the Secretary of the University and Vice President.
Exactly.
And
These are members of the Board of Trustees behind them.
the Yale Corporation is coming behind them.
Oh,
I
there's some
see.
of our honorary degrees.
Here are the honorants.
Yeah, the honorants. Oh, there's Debbie Allen there on the right.
There's Peter Moore, members of the
Michael,
corporation
yeah, there's
marching
Fei
with
Fei.
them. There's Skip Gates. There he
There he is on the right.
There's President Salovey with President Levin, former
Oh,
presidents of the
outstanding.
university, and former trustees Margaret Marshall,
John Rice there on
Ed
the right.
Bass.
And here comes Yale College.
Here comes Yale College with the Dean of Admissions. You want to see him. He's wearing the purple Northwestern robe.
Yep. All of my colleagues here in Yale College. George
The
Levesque
Columbia
wearing his
degree with
Columbia
George
light
Levesque.
blue robe.
There's
Matthew
an MIT
McNamara.
robe with Stephen Wilkinson, the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences.
Ben
And
Pollack.
the FAS flag is there. And there you see the orange and black of Princeton.
Yep. Michigan State. We've got
Yeah.
all our faculty friends are coming along here. Folks from the psychology department, biology department.
This is
African
members of the
American
Faculty
history.
of Arts and Sciences. You see many blue robes. The light
Here's-
blue is Columbia.
Here's one of those famous maces we were talking about. Oh, this is fantastic. Everyone is looking fantastic, enjoying the day, making their final adjustments.
Well, there's our mascot,
Our
Kingman.
friend Handsome Dan.
That's Kingman. And he's named after a former president of the university.
Handsome Dan the 18th. How you doing, Kingman?
He's getting a good showcase here on
Yes.
film. We love you, Kingman.
Now here we see the flags of the various schools coming through here. Up. They've
The
got
tridents.
So we see the undergrads coming through.
The tridents, I believe, are Hopper.
Yes.
Hopper College. You see, every college may have some.
Yeah, Grace Hopper is there on the right with the blue stoles. Oh, that's fantastic.
And I think on the left is a yellow stole. I can't see it clearly. It could be Styles, but I'm not sure.
But, you know, they've got a little adornment, you know, for the undergraduates. Yesterday was class day, which is an opportunity, a special opportunity for the class where they kind of review their last 4 years. You know, they kind of talk about the history, they tell some jokes, they have performances and spoken word, but it's also the day where they issue prizes. And if any of you have ever seen a Yale class day, the students are encouraged to wear a hat of some sort, and the students really go all out decorating. I saw.
There's Silliman.
Yeah. Oh, is that Silliman there?
Yeah, on the right.
And yeah, we still have Saybrook coming there on the left. And then Silliman on the right with the green.
Is that Saybrook?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now I think we've shifted over
That's
to
Branford.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's Enrique, the head of, African head of
And you
Branford.
see, after the heads of college and former heads of college, you see the faculty who are fellows who choose to march with the college there.
And the fellows play such a wonderful role in terms of just having faculty connection and being available, oftentimes as advisors to students. But you know, again, when you talked about the intellectual academic community, it's reinforced by the folks who are fellows and can stay connected to the experience. And you know, one of my neighbors is a fellow for Timothy Dwight, and he just loves it as an architect to be able to help guide students and kind of talk about what his experience was and the graduate school experience. We still have Salamanders there on the right, and Branford on the left.
And Branford on the left.
Now
And
they've got
folks,
their
by the
noisemakers.
way, pretty soon now, from the other gates on this old campus, you'll begin to see the graduate schools and professional schools arriving. They haven't arrived yet, but they'll come from the other gates.
I feel it's always kind of like the gathering of the tribes coming together here on Old Campus, and it's kind of wonderful as the space fills in. You know, we have all these families kind of expectantly waiting here on the yard, but you know, folks at home, if you're watching it, it is this kind of very special moment where we come together as a university. Who is that on the right? It looks like, well, we have JE coming on the left.
Well, now there's a very special college, Jonathan Edwards. It's mine. I would say it's the best college, but I would be afraid to say that in public. But
You're not afraid. Timothy Dwight is on the right.
TD.
Oh, this is
And
great.
you know, I do feel for the graduate and professional families here that we haven't yet seen them.
Yes, yeah, we will definitely call them out because I know for many of them, some of them may have participated in Yale graduation before, but you know, if this is the first time your student has been working in one of our graduate professional programs, this is a very special moment as well. And talking to a family whose daughter is graduating from the School of Management the other night, and they were so immensely proud and looking forward to this weekend, and she's had a tremendous experience connecting with folks interested in management from all over the world in her cohort. So it is definitely one of these moments where we want to celebrate everyone's accomplishments, whether they've been here 2, 4, 5 plus, finishing out their degrees.
People forget that Yale is really very big. Its schools are small, but it has a lot of them.
Yes.
So if you've joined us late, we could say that, again, that the schools of Yale are art, architecture, drama, and music, 4 schools of the arts, which is unusual for a liberal arts university, medicine, nursing, and public health, law, management, divinity, the School of the Environment, the Jackson School of Global Affairs, and the School of Engineering.
Mm-hmm. We have Trumbull College folks walking there on the right on screen, and it looks like Pearson College, which I would argue is one of the stronger colleges, as I'm a Pearson fellow, coming on the left. There's Dean Tasha Hawthorne carrying the mace. Oh, and the head of college there, they're Pearson, showing a little Pearson pride.
Yep.
Oh, they have fans, it looks like, as their extra little totem.
Watching carefully for the graduate schools. Once again, they're going to be coming in from
Yep, I see
the
we
other
have
gates.
a flag here coming.
Oh,
in.
here comes a flag. Let's see what this is.
Is that the School of Medicine?
No. Not sure. What?
Wow, the Pearson and Trumbull folks are really turning out. The American flag and the color guard are entering Yale through Phelps Gate. So we're almost done here with our pre-show because the main event is almost ready to happen.
You're going to see the President's Party, the President, the honorands, the university flags, the faculty marshal.
We can
We'll
hear
all
the
be
band.
down.
The band is starting to be heard here on the old campus. The other colleges, Berkeley College coming through the gates.
And by the way, who you'll see sitting on the stage, everybody, are of course the honorands, the members of the corporation, the deans, and also we've just been joined by some former very distinguished members of the faculty who, once they retire, sit on the stage here.
This is a really special day for the university. It is a coming together that brings our newest together with our most veteran. And
Here we go, folks. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Enjoy the day, folks. Congratulations to all our graduates.
To the students of the class of 2025 and their parents, families, and friends, welcome to the 324th Commencement of Yale University. We gather to recognize the extraordinary accomplishments of all of you who have worked so hard to complete your programs of study. We salute your effort, your diligence, your talents, and your intellect. We also join you in expressing gratitude for all who have supported you in these endeavors, your families and friends, teachers, and other members of the Yale community. In keeping with the tradition of this occasion, I now call upon the university chaplain to offer an invocation.
With deep gratitude to the Quinnipiac people, the indigenous stewards of this land, whose presence and care continue across generations, please join me in a moment of prayer or reflection. Loving and divine spirit, called on by many names, we gather today as a beautiful mosaic of your creation. We come in humility and celebration, having delved into the nooks and crannies of your handiwork, unearthing the elements of your truth and light in the library stacks and laboratories, studios and stadiums, clinics and classrooms of this campus. Creator and sustainer of life, we are filled with gratitude for everything that has brought us to this moment, for our ancestors who have come before us, for those giants on whose shoulders we stand, for those who have fed us, fed our souls on dark nights, and kept us company as we searched for elusive truths. Although we are here in a moment of celebration, we also acknowledge the brokenness and heartache of the world. May these graduates help carve a better future for our world. Help them lead with humility, be inspired by justice, guided by mercy, motivated by compassion, and driven by love. Teach us to listen deeper, love harder, and lead with more kindness than necessary. As we embark on these next journeys, may we move from strength to strength with compassion, curiosity, and gentleness, as we say, Amen.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for the bachelor's degrees in Yale College. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, 1,151 in number, and for the degree of Bachelor of Science, 638 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of Yale College and approved by the corporation. I now ask you by your official act to confer upon them these degrees.
You want me to go? By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the bachelor's degrees in Yale College as designated by their dean and admit you to all their rights and responsibilities. Congratulations. 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 Congrats. Congrats. Congratulations. 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 One more. Congratulations.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the Jackson School of Global Affairs. For the degree of Master in Public Policy, 35 in number, and for the degree of Master of Advanced Study, 6 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation. I now ask you, by your official act, to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degrees in global affairs as designated by the Dean and admit you to all their rights and responsibilities. Congratulations.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the School of Management. For the degree of Master of Business Administration, 399 in number. For the degree of Master of Advanced Management, 39 in number. And for the degree of Master in Management Studies, 148 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation. I now ask you, by your official act, to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degrees in management as designated by the Dean and admit you to all their rights and responsibilities. Congratulations.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the School of Architecture. For the degree Master of Architecture, 91 in number. For the degree Master of Environmental Design, 1 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation. I now ask you by your official act to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degrees in architecture and design as designated by the Dean and admit you to all their rights and responsibilities.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the graduate school. For degree of Master of Science, 259 in number. For degree of Master of Arts, 120 in number. And for the degree of Master of Philosophy, 126 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation. I now ask you, by your official act, to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degrees in the graduate school as designated by the dean and admit you to all their rights and responsibilities.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the School of Public Health. For the degree of Master of Public Health, 299 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation. I now ask you by your official act to confer upon them this degree.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree in public health as designated by the dean and admit you to all the rights and responsibilities.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the School of the Environment. For the degree of Master of Environmental Management, 99 in number. For the degree of Master of Environmental Sciences, 18 in number. For the degree of Master in Forestry, 13 in number. And for the degree of Master of Forest Science, 6 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation. I now ask you by your official act to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degrees in Environment and Forestry as designated by the dean and admit you to all their rights and responsibilities.
I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the School of Art. For the degree of Master of Fine Arts, 57 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation. I now ask you, by your official act, to confer upon them this degree.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree in art as designated by the dean and admit you to all its rights and responsibilities.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the Divinity School, small but mighty. For the degree of Master of Arts in Religion, 60 in number. For the degree of Master of Divinity, 38 in number. And for the degree of Master of Sacred Theology, 8 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation. I now ask you, by your official act, to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degrees in religion, divinity, and theology as designated by the dean and admit you to all their rights and responsibilities.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the David Geffen School of Drama. For the certificate in drama, 2 in number, for the degree of Master of Fine Arts, 73 in number, and for the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, 4 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation. I now ask you by your official act to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the certificate and degrees in drama as designated by the dean and admit you to all their rights and responsibilities.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the School of Nursing. For the degrees of Master of Science in Nursing, 107 in number, Postmaster Certificate, 1 in number, and for the degree of Doctor of Nursing Practice, 30 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the School of Nursing and approved by the corporation. I now ask you, by your official act, to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the certificate and degrees in nursing as designated by the dean and admit you to all their rights and responsibilities.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the School of Music. For the certificate in performance, 1 in number. For the degree of Masters of Music, 77 in number. For the degree of Master of Musical Arts, 31 in number. And for the degree of Doctor of Musical Arts, 2 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation. I now ask you, by your official act, to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the certificate and degrees in music as designated by the dean and admit you to all their rights and responsibilities.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for the degrees for the law school. For the degree of Juris Doctor, 206 in number. For the degree of Master of Law, 26 in number. For the degree of Masters of Studies in Law, 2 in number. and for the degree of Doctor of the Science of Law, 2 in number. When they have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation, I shall ask you by your official act to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I shall confer upon you the degrees in the law school when designated by the dean, and shall then admit you to all their rights and responsibilities.
Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for degrees in the School of Medicine. For the degree of Master of Medical Science, 73 in number, when they have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation, I shall ask you by your official act to confer upon them this degree. For the certificate in global medicine, 1 in number. For the degree of Master of Health Science, 42 in number. And for the degree of Doctor of Medicine, 87 in number. They have been recommended by the faculty of the school and approved by the corporation. I now ask you, by your official act, to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I shall confer the degree in medical science and do confer upon you the certificate in global medicine and degrees in health science and medicine as designated by the dean and admit you to all their rights and responsibilities.
Praeses clarissime, candidatos ad gradum philosophiae doctoris, numero ducentos, septuagin, a te duo tibi presento, a facultate philosophiae artiumque, et in senato academico illustri approbati sunt. Te, Domine, rogo ut eos ad hunc gradum admittas.
Secundum leges moremque, universitatis nostrae, vos ad gradum philosophia doctoris admitto. Vobisque unicum hoc diplomate, ora illa atque dignitatis, quae ad hunc honorum spectant confero. Nunc studiis feliciter absolutus, ego praesis universitatis, vos ex animo eubeo salvere et valere. We will now proceed to the awarding of honorary degrees. The 8 individuals we honor this morning serve as examples to you, our graduates, to encourage you to aspire to excellence and to value those elements of human character that they embody: creativity, curiosity, discipline, integrity, and a passion for public service. Their presence here also honors you who graduate today, and all of us who are here to salute you. I will now, as is customary, call upon the provost to present the candidates for honorary degrees.
Madam President, I have the honor to present the candidates for honorary degrees. For the candidate for the degree of Doctor of Letters, Annette Gordon Reed, historian. To the blue dot.
Innovative historian, your exploration into the life and times of Thomas Jefferson has refined our view of one of the most illustrious presidents and opened our eyes to the contradictions at work in America's founding generation. Your deep archival research, along with your beautiful gift of storytelling, has given us much more, including the essays in Juneteenth, a meditation on the long road to the end of legalized slavery in the state of Texas, the place where you still feel most at home. Yale pays tribute to a historian's historian whose work helps us to understand what America has been so that we can move even more towards what it can be. As with great respect, we award you the degree of Doctor of Letters.
For the degree of Doctor of Science, Peter B. Moore, chemist.
Distinguished scientist, you are best known for your studies of the structure of the ribosome, the cellular machinery for making proteins, which are essential for life and have implications for pioneering medical advances. Generous collaborator, mentor, and Yale community citizen for more than 50 years, known for your high standards, integrity, and professionalism, you have always been a champion and exemplar for what you insist the world needs: a devotion to basic science, which does not start with a specific aim, but leads to discoveries no one has yet imagined. Ardent partisan of the laboratory arts, Yale honors you for your contributions to science and to your university as we gratefully award you your 3rd Yale degree, Doctor of Science.
For the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, Debbie Allen, performer, producer, director.
A whirling dervish of artistic energy in a career that spans multiple decades, you have won dozens of awards for your portrayal of Anita in West Side Story, Lydia Grant in the 1980s hit series Fame, and as director, choreographer, and producer of countless stage and TV shows. As the founder of the famed Debbie Allen Dance Academy, your teaching has enriched and transformed the lives of hundreds of young dancers who have developed into superb artists through your school. Polymath of performance and promoter of change, Yale celebrates you with a grand jeté of admiration as we award you the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts.
For the degree of Doctor of Divinity, Michael B. Curry, Bishop.
"27th Presiding Bishop of the Episcopal Church, last year you completed your 9-year term as the church's head pastor, spokesperson, president, and chief executive officer. Proactive guardian of the church's spirit, you have taken on challenging issues and championed them internationally with your empowering voice. Faithful and fiery shepherd and a man of good hope who proclaims his desire for a church that looks and acts like Jesus, Yale celebrates a graduate who insists that if it's not about love, it's not about God. As with trumpets and timbrels, we confer upon you your second Yale degree, Doctor of Divinity. Congratulations.
For the degree of Doctor of Engineering and Technology, Fei Li, computer scientist.
Pioneering developer of artificial intelligence, you immigrated from China with your parents to an early life of poverty in America. Waitress, house cleaner, dog walker, you were recognized by your remarkable high school teacher who helped you discover your passion for math and science and the expansive opportunities America affords a young child of passion, resilience, and promise. Pathbreaker and proselytizer for an AI technology with the power to reshape life as we know it, Yale honors the originator of human-centered AI, who has dedicated herself to answering her mother's question. Fei, what else can AI do to help people? As with admiration, we confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Engineering and Technology.
For the Doctor of Music, Ronald L. Carter, bass player.
Iconic American jazz cellist and bassist, you are often considered the most important bassist in the history of jazz and among the most universally admired and beloved. In over 3,000 recordings and hundreds of gigs alongside a who's who of performers like Miles Davis, Lena Horne, and B.B. King. Your technique, artistry, and sense of rhythm have captivated jazz fans around the globe and influenced generations of musicians from classical to hip hop. Influential performer, composer, and educator, we are pleased to riff on your 3 Emmys and multiple other awards as we present you with one of your own, a Doctor of Music.
For the degree of Doctor of Science, Francis H. Arnold, Chemical Engineer.
Bold bioengineer, you are the inventor of the field of evolutionary chemistry, a Nobel Prize winner who stunned the scientific world with your adventurous and unorthodox research. Your creation of new enzymes by directing evolutionary processes in a laboratory setting has made possible remarkable advances for science, medicine, technology, and all of humankind. Perhaps your ability to think out of the box owes something to your free-spirited youth, where you worked many jobs, traveled widely, and spent time as a cocktail waitress, cab driver, and motorcyclist, an explorer who would not be hemmed in by traditional pathways and expectations. Yale salutes a brave, resilient, and innovative scientist whose genius has been to demonstrate that nature and science are unparalleled partners, as in tribute, we award you the degree of Doctor of Science.
For the degree of Doctor of Humanities, Henry Louis Gates, Jr., Literary Scholar.
To put it plainly, you are a phenomenon. In your books, editions, anthologies, teaching documentaries, and TV series Finding Your Roots, you have been an institution builder and drum major for the cultural and intellectual tradition of African American literature and scholarship. You have shown, as Martin Luther King said, that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Proud son of West Virginia and a Harvard professor, we rejoice that you are also a proud son of Yale, a school you loved, and where you have said your heart will always be. Your university welcomes you home, Skip Gates, to a place where you found part of your own roots. And thank you for your distinguished contributions to American culture and democracy as we present you with your second Yale degree, Doctor of Humanities.
invite you to join me in a final blessing of our graduates. God, you formed us from your goodness. You instilled curiosity to explore what lies beyond. You implanted minds to extend our reach beyond our grasp. You inspired us with awe. May these we celebrate know the joie de vivre. May they never stop questioning even what is assured. May they, like our honorees, achieve what others consider impossible. May they never lose the excitement of wonder. Empower us to work for justice. Humble us to serve the marginal. Embolden us to protect our fragile earth. Inspire us to live for causes beyond our own. Amen.